What's up, guys? This is Rex here. I built a Morvik IKEA wardrobe over the weekend, and with the instructions being so bad and no videos being in English, I'm going to run through the entire manual with you to show you how to build a Morvik wardrobe. So this will be step by step through the manual. I apologize, there's no like photos of the whole build process. I didn't get this idea until after I'd already finished. But don't worry, I'll walk you through it in fine detail. Let's get started. So as you come through all the like boilerplate stuff here for all the different languages, it's going to come first to what tools do you need. You'll need a flathead, a star. They say you want a punch. A drill will work just as well here. Hammer, level is if you're going to actually like a level is good for the process, but it's not absolutely necessary. And a ladder for if you want to anchor it to the wall. They suggest you do not do this alone. You're going to need a partner. For most of the build process, you can do it alone, but it is incredibly heavy as you start building it. So after a point, especially after you stand it up, you will need somebody to help you. Do not build this on the hard floor. Build this on a carpet. And if you have any questions, they suggest you call IKEA. But since you're coming to this video, you won't need to do that. And this is really just saying anchor it to the wall. Just let it go. Here's a list of all the parts. You're gonna have 14 of these black screws. I built the black model, so I'm just gonna be calling it as I saw it. So these will be black screws. These screws, you'll have 8 of them. They go into the side walls. You have 14 dowels, 8 locking screws. These are your 16 shelf supports, 4 L brackets that anchor the side walls to the base. These nails, which anchor the cardboard, which is the backing to the unit itself. These like screws, these screws and these screws will drop into each other. And this is for, if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is for the railing part of it. And then you have all these extra miscellaneous ones, which will just go into the unit as we get through the instructions. This is your like nail holder so you don't hit your thumb. In all honesty, I didn't use this because I'm not a wuss, and I suggest you don't use it either. Then you got this little Allen key kind of tightener here, and you got some washers. Now, this bracket here, this is your wall anchor. These are your foot mounts for the bottom, and these are for the doors. And this is also for the door, that's also for the door, and that tightens it. This is your railing, or no, this is your handle, my apologies. This is your handle for the doors, and we'll get to that eventually. So, first thing is first. We want to start with the basics. So, these are your side rails. Okay? These should be located in box number 2. And this one here will is just plain wood. There will be no veneer finish on it, whether it's black or wood grain or whatever. You will not have it. This will just be bare wood. This one will have whatever color model you put. This will have the veneer on it. So you want to put the L bracket through the side there. And you want the shorter one, not the longer one. Moving down, you'll have the base, okay? And as you see here, they'll always explode a view so you can see the identification feature of it. The base is located in box number 1, and you'll see these 2 little grooves on the bottom of it. Or on the top, it'll be black on the top, and 2 dowel spots. Turn the finish side with the veneer, turn it down so it's facing the ground, and screw the L brackets into the base. As you can see here, there'll be 2 holes on either side. You want to screw it into onto the 2 side holes of that hole, and that should be all you need for that. Once you're done, you want to go here and you want to grab the wooden dowels. You're going to need 6 of these. 1 goes into the top of each side of the wood finish of the bare wood bottom, and then 1 goes into the top side of each of the stand with the finish on it. And then these 2 bottom ones here go into the baseboard. They do not go into the gigantic hole on the bottom of this. They go into the baseboard. Okay? So now once you've done that, scroll down. You'll come to the side walls. And you're going to have to count the holes here so you know where to go. The sidewalls do look a little bit different from each other. This one has a curve going up, this one has the curve going down. So you want to just make sure you get the right ones. So just count it off. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So in positions 2 and 4, or 1 and 3, depending on how you count it, you'll put a wood peg there. There should be a space in between. You'll put a peg in the middle, and on the far side, you'll put a peg in the middle of the 3 row. On the next door, you'll put a peg in the second position, in the middle, and in the second position and in the fourth position of the other wall. Now, these pegs are going to be the screws with the threads that I was telling you about earlier, and what this is going to do is when you mount it to the baseboard, this is going to actually lock it really well. So once you get these 8 screws put in, you're going to want to turn the base on its side, on its front, and turn the walls to their side, and you're going to push it all together. A friend would help immensely with this because it will kind of like lose itself, because you're going to have to pick up the base and the sidewall at the same time to kind of lock them together. But once you do manage to get them pushed together, you're going to want to grab your tightening screws or your locking screws, and there's going to be one in the very top that you're going to actually have to like look over the top of the bottom if you're standing on inside the unit, or if you're outside you'll see it. Top, middle, bottom, top, middle, bottom. It's the same on both sides, so just make sure, do not put your foot on this bottom or else you will crack it. So do not do that. Make sure you tighten the locking nuts there. Once that's done, you're going to want to take these black screws or whatever color you got and put 2 through each side using the Allen key to lock it. And now we come to the top of the unit. The top of the unit, you'll see, has all these holes on it, and you'll see it has the way you want to position it on a table, and this is meant to be done on a table, is the finish on it will have like an extra little jut out. So you want to find the parts where it's jutted out with the extra length of finish on it, and turn that away from you. Okay? So you'll see here this little kind of tab is pointed out towards the wall of the table, and the part closest to the person is the opposite end. You're going to want to take your railing, which is the big black or brown or whatever thing that you got. It has these 2 like grooves in it with 2 white stoppers. Take your screws and screw into the bottom of the unit. And this is also where I said that you're going to need those like little kind of side, or not the side, but the hollow screws to screw into it. So it gives it like, a support to grab onto. So once you do that, you're going to need a friend for this part now. I did do this alone, but in doing so, I really messed up my back, and I highly advise no one do this. So grab a friend, grab a family member, and you're going to need some books. Okay, I know this book in the diagram looks like it's going in the side to like create a space, but it's actually underneath. So you're going to want to grab a friend and get some books or magazines, put them underneath, and you're going to want to center this middle panel into the middle of the unit, putting dowels in the top part of this. And then once you do that, you're going to want to put a screw in the second position. And mind you, it's very hard to screw this up because the dowels only fit in one of the holes, and the screws obviously fit in the other holes because they're substantially bigger. So once you do that, you're going to have you'll have the middle partition put in. Now it's time to put the top in. So once again, it comes down to putting in more dowels. So you're going to put them in the bottom of the 2 holes and push it in together with the railing that you installed facing towards you. It should be closer to you. Okay, once you do that, you're going to install the black screws through the top to anchor it to the unit. At this point, you now have the unit mostly, like, you have the frame completed. Now it's going to come time to tighten all the screws, so just give it a good tight, make sure they're all very secure. And you're going to want to hammer in the little plastic feet that you got. If you choose to, great. If not, whatever. I did it just because you're already there, you may as well. And clearly IKEA put them there for a reason. Now it's time to install the backing. Now this can get a little bit tricky. There is a groove in the unit. It is not remotely as pronounced as the diagram here is showing. So really make sure you do this correctly. Make sure you line it up and get it as square as possible on both sides, okay? And once you do that, you're going to want to nail the four corners in to anchor it down. After you've anchored the four corners of this unit, you're going to have to go through the rest of it, but you're going to want to put the second part down first, anchor that, and once again, make sure you have this square. If you don't, one side is going to sink in, it's going to throw the whole thing off, and unless you're like super OCD, you might not care, but some people will. So make sure you have this totally square. Once you do that, just put the nails around and put 10 nails up the middle to right through the base or right through the sidewall. Okay, now this part here, with the unit still down, you're going to want to install these metal brackets. Just space them out equally. It's based on the wall, you know, nothing too bad. Get them where you want, mark it with a pen, and if you have a punch, great. If not, just take your drill, just drill a pilot hole through the middle rail and through the bottom. Through the middle rail, you're going to want to put a screw with a washer to distribute the pressure load, and then you're going to want to put a screw through the bottom hole to anchor really to the unit. Okay? So now that you've completed the frame of the unit, or the structural of the unit, now it's time to raise it. Keep in mind, this unit is 8 feet tall by like 4 feet wide. It is not a light unit at this point. It has got some real weight to it. So you're going to want to get a family member for this one, or a friend, lift it up, and if you turn out to have like a diagonal issue where you can't turn it because it keeps scraping against the ceiling, what you do is turn it like totally diagonal, and as you push it towards, make sure you turn it 90 degrees, or try and turn it 90, and it should clear the ceiling. But this will all be based on the height of the room. This is just what I did when I kept hitting the ceiling when I tried to turn it vertical. Now that you're done that, install the 4 nylon screws. They're little white nylon screws. In fact, they're not even screws. You just push them in. Just install those. It's very easy. You have the railing here at the bottom. So you're going to install the rubber rails. They just kind of snap in. There's no real trick to it. And this is going to be where the doors glide on. With that done, before you install the doors, you want to make sure that you put your shelving in. So you get the little gray screw plugs. To use them, just screw them in and make sure the peg is facing upward. Once you do that, put the shelves in, and there's holes underneath the shelf, and they'll drop right onto the pegs. It's a perfect fit. If it doesn't fit perfectly, just give it a nice little tap. It should be just fine. Once they're in, they're in. Like, it is a really well built peg. Now it's time to install the rail rods for your like suits and jackets. So there will be 2 mounting holes on the side wall, and you just take the little semicircle clip thing, put the 2 small screws through it on each side, and you're going to do that 4 times, so 2 screws per side, and then you'll just drop the metal rail right into the unit. Now at this point, the closet is essentially functional. Now it's time to get the aesthetic done. So you're going to take both doors, one with the mirror, one with the wood finish, and this one here, this one in the diagram, this is the mirror right here. Okay, let me just put this here. This is the mirror right here. Okay, and you're gonna know it's the mirror by the fact that it already has the plank on it, or not the plank, but the little like metal bracket already screwed into it. The wood side will not have the little bracket screwed into it. That's how you're going to tell the difference, but I'm just going to save you the time now. So this is the mirror on this part of the floor here. You're going to see the semicircles and then full circles. In the semicircles, you install this little kind of semi-lunar clip thing. And in the top circles, you're going to install, with the 3 holes around it, this bigger bracket. And inside the bigger bracket, you're going to see an Allen key and what it's going to do is it just tightens and it raises and lowers these little wing things. Okay? So screw all those in, the semi-lunars into the semi-lunars, the square into the full circle hole, and now it'll be time to put them into the unit. This diagram is a little bit misleading. This, you put the mirror in first, okay? Install the mirror first into this unit, and it's going to go into the back of the unit. This is the front, this is the back. Install it into the back of the unit. Once you do that, you're going to feel it click into the rail, and then you're going to want to get underneath, or you're going to have your partner get underneath. Make sure they have a flashlight because it does get very dark in there. Take a flathead screwdriver and turn the semi-lunars into the locking position. It'll be a very audible click. And remember, this gets mounted into the second rail, into the rail closest to the closet. So you'll hear an audible click, and that will lock the mirror into place. You'll do that 2 times. And then it's time to install the wood part. The wood door will go into the front clip. And then you'll rinse and repeat. Just go underneath, install this, turn the semi-lunars into the locking position. And at that point, then you're almost done. All you have to do is install the handles now. So you just go grab the 2 handles that you got. You're going to need your drill once again, but you line it up with the 3 back holes on each door. Install the screws onto the 3 back holes. And then on the side, drill your little pilot hole and install the screws onto the side of it to really kind of give it some rigidity to it. And once you do that, you are complete. That is all you need. With this tutorial, and if you have a friend, you could honestly build this whole thing in about 20 minutes. It took me a few hours because I had to do the entire thing solo, and it was horrendous, especially since none of the reviews I found were, or none of the videos I found were even in English, yet alone helpful. So I know this video was helpful if you followed it step by step. I tried to give you as much detail as I could, but if you have any other questions, please just leave them in the comments below. I'll get to them as soon as I can. I've been Little Rex. Thank you so much for watching. This has been how to build a Morvik IKEA wardrobe. If you like the video, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.